All right, guys, we finally figured it out.
Sorry, we were stuck in makeup.
So yeah, we're hanging out today live here with Kyle from Border Coach. Kyle's the guy with all of the knowledge here. So what's going on, everybody? We're glad to have you guys. Where is everybody from? If you guys want to drop that in the comments below. Looks like we've already got 45 people going on. So Kyle, what's been going on with you lately, man?
Uh-oh, we're going to commercial.
Turn the volume off there.
Sorry.
No problem.
Hey, there it is. All right, welcome everybody. We've just been working on a lot of customer coaches here lately. We have the Hoffman coach, which you'll have a video edited shortly on, which was a full remodel job, and it was a bus that I flew out to Pennsylvania to pick up from a customer who reached out to me on Facebook. That's a great story. We have another country coach, 2003, I believe it is, double slide that were completely ripped apart and doing a full interior, full automation, updating the front end on.
Oh, Endless RVing, thanks for the $10 super chat. Appreciate that. So yeah, and if you guys want to make sure that we see, sorry to cut you off, Kyle. I got excited. Endless RVing hooked us up here. So if you guys want to drop a comment and make sure that we see it, you can do a super chat. It's real easy to do it. Big thanks to Endless RVing. They've got a great channel. Have you ever seen Endless RVing?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you got to check them out, man. It's great. Really cool folks from New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I got to get more active on YouTube. I've just been so busy. Like, I haven't even seen all your videos, which I haven't even seen all the videos that you film of me either. But anyways.
So what kind of questions do we have coming in here? Last time I did this, I was super nervous, and the first 45 minutes was terrible. And then about 45 minutes into it, we got into a pretty good flow of people asking questions. There were some actually really good questions that came up, and even stuff that I hadn't thought about that people brought up in the comments section. So we appreciate that. So where's everybody from? Let me take a look here. Augusta, Georgia. What's going on, Chuck? Todd S. from Cape Coral. Endless RVing, great to see you guys. Matt, I don't know what I'm going to purchase. I'm going to be on the hunt here. I'm looking for all kinds of stuff.
Better be a Prevost though. No fiberglass coaches.
You know, I'm gonna be looking at a lot of different stuff. I can't be, I got to be diplomatic for right now. We'll see what's ahead. So yeah, the Prevost Royale coach, great question, 9 to 5, was made by Monaco. Prevost Country Coach was made by same country coach as the Magna. And then what about Featherlight and the Vogue? Great question. So yes, Royale coach was affiliated with Monaco coach, and Country Coach, the Prevost Country Coach conversions are related to Country Coach, obviously. It was built in the same facility that I've been back to visiting Premier RV of Oregon up there. Now there is another brand, Royal Coach, that I learned recently. There was only 13 ever built out of Indiana or Ohio, I believe, and it's not Royale Coach, it's actually Royal Coach in the late 80s, I know. So that was an answer to 9 to 5 Golf Hugh Manning. Appreciate that question. What else do we got here? We've got an expert here, a bus expert. So hello from Dubai. Great to hear from you, Zishan. I hope I pronounced that properly. Augusta, Michigan. Mike Hunt, good to hear from you. Dwayne Clark in Huntsville, Alabama. We appreciate you. Dan in Maryland. Brentwood, California. Matt Burgess, appreciate you. Palm Beach County. Andrew, that's Florida. Appreciate you. Just wanted to ask Kyle on something like that 45K Prevost. That we talked about that a little bit. What did you think of that coach?
Which coach we talking
that
about?
45K with the generator fire. Did you ever get a chance to see that video? I talked.
Oh, the one you called me on.
Yeah. Well, and Kyle, let me tell you guys too. Kyle was in a car accident. Actually, maybe a half hour after we recorded that when I was driving out to California. So. You probably haven't. You've got a lot going on. You probably haven't seen Did you ever see the $45,000?
No, I didn't, but you were telling me about it, and that was the 80 something, right?
It was an '87 country coach, I believe.
Yeah.
That where the wiring harness had
On the coach side.
had burned
right?
up. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that? On someone to bring the work. I mean, probably looking at a lot of money in dough.
The problem is when you have a fire like that and it melts the actual Prevost wiring, who knows where the wire is going. You have to trace every single wire. If it was the generator wiring, I would just rip it all out and put all new in. But since it actually got into the Prevost, that's a lot more complex, and it's going to be labor intensive. Obviously, the actual wire is not all that expensive, but Prevost is actually pretty good and labeling their wires, so you could have wire 134 over here and 134 over here, and you could connect the two, given that you can actually find labels on them. And in a coach of that vintage, you may or may not be able to.
What if it's burned? You're not going to be able to find any labels.
Yeah, but at some point, like say bay 1, you'll be able to find it, and then back in the engine, you'll be able to find it, unless if it's completely burnt all the way through.
Okay, no, that's good to know. What is a good rule of someone to set aside for dollar amount to update a coach? Floors, bathroom, electronics. Second part, what does a good paint job cost? Before you answer that, I'll say the sky's the limit. It's really
Dean Laux, ask him how much a paint job costs.
Yeah, and that's I mean, really, I think for what he does, I think that's a great value. But bringing a coach to you, I know you've been doing. Oh, I wish I took a picture. You guys should see Kyle's lot right now. He's got a lot of buses here. You've been turning them out too. I've seen some of the ones. I wish and Kyle's going to try to film more of these coaches too, so that you guys can see the before and afters. But what's like a good general
paint? I mean, I've heard some guys getting single stage paint jobs in the $10,000 range. I've looked at them. They don't look all that great. However, it does brighten the coach up and make it look a lot better. But I'm thinking probably in the $20,000 range. Depending on how much detail there is, you can get a fairly decent paint job done.
Yeah, what about just floors and bathroom? If you're just updating like floors and bathroom, and kind of like what you're doing, like if someone was to pay what you're doing, Kyle bought a Hoffman coach that's going to be his personal coach. I can't wait to get the video out on that.
Yeah.
But what do you think that would cost you to do about what you're going to do in that coach?
It's a lot of man hours. I would say probably flooring could be anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000, depending on how intricate especially the stairway. Like we just did one in an MCI, which I'll show you photos of. But the MCIs actually wrap around the curve.
We caught a little bit of that in one of our previous videos. It was just a brief glimpse of it. One of your guys was working on it.
So stairs like that takes almost a week just to get that stair cut and the Schluter strip and make it look perfect.
Yep.
And then if we end up putting LED lights under the steps, which I've been doing a lot in a lot of the coaches, so when you walk up, it's all lit up and it looks nice. And
so $15,000 will get
15, yeah, probably tops on that. A bathroom depends, could be another $5,000 to $10,000 just to do a shower, depending on the deco on the wall and the shower door and stuff like that.
So $40,000 you could do a pretty good
remodel.
Yeah. And
you can do counters, update the LEDs. You can even do automation systems for fairly inexpensive these days. So.
Yeah, I've seen people and you can get really complex with the automation systems with the silver leafs and the iPhone.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff. And then you guys are working on a 360 camera right now that you guys are installing. You guys are doing a lot of stuff, lithium-ion batteries you just did in one of your tour buses.
So the lithium, we actually put, real quick, if anyone's interested, we just put six lithium 12-volt batteries in a 24-volt system. And we have two 4024 Xantrex inverters in there, and we ran 2 ACs off of it for about 6 hours. Obviously, they were on, the air conditioners were set on auto, so they would kind of cycle throughout the day, and only Ron was in there kind of enjoying it. But for 6 hours in Arizona heat, that's pretty good for only 6 batteries.
Yeah, no, that definitely says a lot. Lindy Lou, hello, good to hear from you. Zishan is asking the best Class A for Canada in a budget of $200K to $250K. I'm assuming we're talking about 200 to 250K US dollars. Not older than 2010. Oh, your phone's doing something. I think it's going to be really. Kyle is going to be biased. He's going to tell you to buy a Prevost. And to buy a Prevost not older than 2010 for under 200 and 250 grand is tough. Now, 2010 is going to be the cutoff year because financing, people will finance back 10 years. Now, it's also the same time when they started DEF. So I would encourage you, if you're able to go back a little bit further, if your budget's 200 to 250K, you're going to get a much higher quality rig and you can find something pre-DEF. But as far as the best class A for 200 and 250 in Canada, 2010 and newer, I would probably go with like where you got to know where you're going to service it. I think that's one of the most important parts about buying a coach is where you're going to service it. I would say maybe a Newmar
or Tiffin or something.
Yeah, well, I would say Newmar just because Indiana's closer to Canada. So if they've got to bring the coach down here to the U.S. to get it serviced, Newmar is going to be the closest to Canada. So hopefully that answers your question there. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Endless RVing, letting everyone know to hit the thumbs up button. Oh, let's see what's going on here. Looks like we're still live. There, my phone's yelling at me here. The King, Prevost versus Newell, 96 to 2006. We all know Kyle's answer on that.
Yeah, don't ask me that question.
Now, I actually had another gentleman earlier today that I've been helping some people consult. I try to keep up with as many questions as I can, and that's why I want to do these live streams to try to ask you guys as many questions. But a gentleman that's actually having me do some consulting for him, he's out of Southern California. He just goes to Lake Havasu, goes to Glamis Sand Dunes, wants to tow a trailer that's 15,000 pounds. Wants something big and spacious for his family. I told him a Newell's probably a good way to go because he's not driving that many miles a year. An older Newell's going to be high quality. He was actually looking at a newer Thor Tuscany and a Class A diesel pusher. Now, do you know a lot about Newell's, or what's your knowledge on Newell's?
I drove a Newell one time, and it was a quad slide, and I think it was in early 2000, and it didn't ride very well. To be quite honest, it was bouncing all over the place. Maybe it was because the shocks were bad, or I don't really know what was up with it, and I didn't look at it too much. We just did an oil change on it, I believe, at the time, but then I had to drive it back to the Cosmetic.
That was in early 2000s, Newell.
I think it was early 2000s, yeah.
You're asking a Prevost guy. He's going to knock on him all day.
Yeah, I have seen some, down at the sales lot over here, and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And I like how the slides actually drop down in, and it's smooth slide.
Higher headroom.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't think the value holds in them like a Prevost does, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I think the pre-owned Newells are a little less expensive, but you can find some good deals too on some Newells too. So there's definitely a value.
It's harder to find people to work on though than a Prevost, I feel.
Yeah, and I know Newell does have a network, but like I was saying earlier, it's all about having someone that can work on your stuff. Corey Sachs was asking where Sadie Lady is. I'm gonna move the camera for a second. She's taking a nap there. I don't know if you guys can see. There she is. She's like sound asleep. She can get comfortable pretty easy. So hopefully that's not too crooked, guys. I apologize. Let's see who else we got. What kind of questions we have here? No, I haven't been doing detailing anymore. It's just been really tough to keep up with keeping the business profitable. And that was before. That's been going on for a long time. Let's see here. What else? What other questions? I still have some good guys though that I can direct you to depending on where you're located. One of my buddies, Greg, is going to be back down here in Arizona pretty soon. Emissions in 2010 to 2010. Here, buddy, you You want to read some of those questions?
Yeah,
Man, I can't. There's so many flying through there. I can't keep up with all of them.
Sleepy Sadie, there we go.
Yeah. So, hey, and I want to tell you guys about something that Kyle's doing.
We're the stagehands, supposedly.
Yeah.
She's the star.
Yeah. No, that's a true story. It's all about Sadie, ladies. So, Kyle's got a really cool thing he's been promoting recently about. There's a concert coming up soon, and basically, you're offering to rent a tour bus for $3,000.
All costs included. So basically, it's a Arizona band, some friends of ours, Roger Klein and the Peacemakers, and they're doing a show down in Sonora or.
Yeah, they do it every year, right?
Yeah, in Arizona. What's that town called? Senorita?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I can't remember the name, but anyways, it's down. It's about 2.5 hours from here, just north of Tucson, I believe. And there's going to be 250 or 300 people 2 weekends in a row, and we're leasing out some buses to kind of have an experience to where you and 10 friends. Obviously, we have to keep the social distancing and all that stuff, and that's why we're kind of having different buses and different pods so people can keep their groups separated and then enjoy the concert, kind of social distance, and still enjoy camping for the weekend. But it's going to be pretty cool if you want to travel like a rock star for a weekend, right?
Yeah, that's
or sleep like a rock star.
Yeah. Well, so how many nights does that include?
It's check in on Friday and then check out on Sunday, and I believe there's music the entire weekend.
And does that include the music or the?
The tickets I looked up are $215 a person on top of that.
So
that's just accommodation.
So another $200 a person.
The whole weekend, yeah.
But there's something to be said about the experience of having a Prevost tour bus on site at a music festival, and that includes the campsite as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it includes
and all the power and the water, and we're gonna have a water truck that's gonna fill up the buses, and the sewage truck that's gonna pump it out for you each day. And obviously, the buses are fully cleaned by professional staff and make sure everything's as best as it possibly can be during this COVID time. Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty good experience. What do you guys think? Please drop a comment if you guys think that's a good deal. $3,000 to have a tour bus on set, and if you've never had an RV at a music festival experience, it's definitely worth checking out. I know I've done like Country Thunder before. It's pretty, and that was a little bit too long. I think 1 weekend is probably pretty good, and then have a Prevost. That's definitely a cool setup. What do you guys think? Is that a good deal? $3,000 to basically have the bus brought there. Is anyone dropping any comments? Let's see. Yeah, it ends up being, if you have 10 people, it's $300 a person for the whole weekend. Yeah. And how many people do the buses sleep? 10. We're only allowing 10 because apparently that's the magic number these days, right? Yeah. So what other questions does everybody have here? Let's see here. What do we got? Newell has a Cat 625, lots of power. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Didn't know that. 9 to 5. What's this? Ooh, finding and repairing air leaks. So that's that is a never-ending task here. Basically, what we do is we go up with the coach on our lifts and soapy water. I have one of those pump jugs, like for bug sprays, right? Yeah. We fill that up, soapy water. Seems like Dawn soap is always the best to find air leaks, and we just pump that thing up and just start soaking everything possible. Usually, you're going to find a lot of the leaks in the push connects from the factory. And a lot of these coaches that come in that don't have the push connects means that the coach has actually had a person that's owned it, that's put in compression fittings, and they've gone through and fixed a lot of the air leaks. I usually like seeing coaches like that because you've had somebody that's cared about the air leaks. It seems like, but yeah, sometimes the airbags can leak if they have some cracks. So we usually like to soak them up, get them off the lift, set them down in their park position, because sometimes if you overextend an airbag when it's on the lift, it may seal up a leak that's actually in the airbag because it's in a position that it normally wouldn't be when it's sitting. So we like to do it up on the lift and on the ground. Yeah, good question. What else do we got here? Would you recommend buying a newer mass production coach like a Newmar or Tiffin, or older Newell?
Well,
That's you.
that depends on what your needs are and what's important to you, and a lot of it depends on what and how mechanically inclined you are. An older Newell versus a newer Tiffin or a newer Newmar, I would say, uh, if it's a good question. I would lean towards the Newell and doing like remodel work and really servicing it out, but at the same time, the Newell is going to have a lot more complex systems like the air doors. We were just talking about air leaks, where you're going to have to look for the air leaks and stuff. Where a newer, lower, and you say Tiffin or Newmar, but there's, are we talking a Dutch Star and a Phaeton, or are we talking a King Air and a Zephyr? So there's a lot of different levels of stuff that can break and that can go wrong. So I would say I like the older Newells. I like the pre-DEF stuff. I would personally go with an older Newell versus a newer Tiffin or a newer Newmar. Now, if you lived close to Red Bay, Alabama, or you lived close to Napanee, Indiana, it may be a different answer to that question, depending on the person. Or if it's someone like myself, I bought an older Tiffin Phaeton rather than like a Newell or a Prevost, just because there's just less stuff that can break. And you guys probably don't realize that, because I show YouTube videos of all this different stuff breaking on my coach. But I don't have heated floors. I don't have air doors where you press a button just to open your door. The inverter, the inverter systems like that you put in these buses, the electronics get a lot more complex when you press a button to put up all your shades. I just manually put my shades up. So depending on how mechanical you are, that would be kind of how I would answer that question. Hopefully that helps. So what else?
Chuck asked if we rent our coaches out for family trips. Yeah, absolutely. We'll rent the coaches out to anybody. I mean, predominantly it's bands, but during this time, we've been doing a lot of leases for family trips and private events and corporate clients. So yeah, anytime you can reach out to us and via the website.
Yeah, bordercoachleasing.com. And that's a thing that Kyle was telling me, when you look at traveling, and like I've been driving, I've done it, I've been doing a lot of traveling lately. I'm either driving and staying in hotels, or I'm driving in my RV and getting, an RV site. And it's a lot of work, especially I've got Sadie Lady with me. So I'm like carrying, her bowls, all of her dog food in and out of hotel rooms with all my other luggage. Yeah. And then getting on air when I don't have her, I'm getting on airplanes. It's a lot of work, and the traveling alone takes a lot of time. Where you were explaining to me, where in a tour bus, usually the driver will drive the coach at night.
Yeah.
So you're sleeping at night, you catch your rest, wake up in the morning.
Your full day of everything, and you're just, you're sleeping through the night, and an 8-hour drive from here to say Albuquerque or here to LA. And you just sleep the night away, and then you arrive there bright and early in the morning. You go to work, or edit videos, or
whatever
interviews, or
whatever. Well, but even for a family, like say you wanted to go see some national parks or something, it would be a great way to go see a national park. All right, you're done for the day. Everybody goes to bed. The driver takes you to the next city, and less time is spent on worrying about travel and more time is spent on worrying about, okay, what museum are we going to go to, or whatnot. What else? What other questions have we got here?
Gary Yarborough asked, what's the date on the concert? It's the weekend of October 15th and the 26th.
And there's two separate weekends. So.
2 separate weekends, yeah.
Are you going to be out there?
Yeah, I'm going for both.
So if someone's out there, they could probably have a cold beverage with you.
There you go.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it'll be good times.
If they rent a bus,
I'm gonna bring the Hoffman. Hopefully, it'll be done by then.
Okay.
If it's not, the wife is gonna.
He's moving a lot quicker on this Hoffman than he was on that Silver Eagle. I can vouch for it. I was just looking at the Hoffman. A lot of you saw the video on the Silver Eagle update, and not a lot of progress in the last 6 months. But
we'll get on it though.
He's making time. So if someone does rent a bus and goes to one of these concerts, you will buy him a cold beverage?
Absolutely.
Hey, that's a heck of a deal for $3,000. We get to hang out with a celebrity.
Oh, wow, yeah.
What else is going? 133. We appreciate all you guys live here. What are the questions?
I like Brian says, I think if Andrew hits 100,000 subscribers, he gets a driver. He's gonna get a driver before 100,000.
I like how you're thinking. What's who said that? Brian. Appreciate that comment, Brian. Yeah.
When you rent a coach to a family, does it have to come with a driver? Yes, it does, because we are commercially insured and run under DOT everything. So basically, all of our drivers have to be random drug tested, and there's all kinds of paperwork that needs to be done. So we can't just hand over a coach to somebody to have them take out on their own. I think there's other companies out there that you may be able to rent it.
Yeah, Goss RV,
yeah.
I know is probably one of there was someone else that I recently someone else was dabbling in renting RVs out. I can't remember. It's hard to keep up.
But if you've never owned a Prevost, the last thing you want to do is probably rent one and get stuff. You need to own it for a while and actually learn about the coach before you're just going to take it for a weekend.
Yeah,
for a week, you'll end up not figuring. It's not going to be a good journey for you.
Hey, thank you, Endless RVing, for the $5. Greatly appreciate that. And if you haven't checked out Endless RVing's channel, they are awesome. Izzy and MJ, they're out of New York. Really good people. She's a dog trainer and he's in law enforcement, and they make DIY, all kinds of different RV related videos, but really appreciate that $5, Endless RVing. And the super chat, if you want to make sure that we see your comment, if we're missing any comments, you can super chat and make sure that we see that. So appreciate that.
Nice. Sorry I missed it. Golf Hugh said, how many batteries and inverters run AC in that bus you were talking about at the beginning of the show? So it all comes down to, with the batteries, you can run one AC off of one battery, and it comes down to the amp hours of the batteries and time. So more batteries equals more time. With what we're doing, we have 6 batteries, 2 ACs running. Obviously, the higher the temperature outside, the more amp draw on the compressors on the air conditioners, which is higher amp draw on the inverters. So it's actually going to drop the time. But when it comes to, say, 80 degrees outside versus 105 or whatever it is today, then you actually get more time out of it because there'll be less amp draw out of it.
Okay, another question. Rebecca says they wish they could rent a tour bus, but they have pets. Do you allow pets on your buses?
What kind of pets, though? Dogs and cats? Are we talking about chickens and goats? And
yeah. What I mean, do you allow dogs and cats?
Yeah, we allow dogs and cats. I'm a huge dog lover, and if somebody told me I couldn't bring my dog, I'd be terrified of it. of a journey without my dog.
So Border Coach Leasing tour buses are pet friendly.
Yes.
Now, so if they go to that Roger Klein and Peacemakers, that $3,000, that's okay to have a pet. That includes the cleaning fee and everything.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go, Rebecca. You can give Border Coach a call and rent a tour bus, and that's a cool experience if you've never thought of it.
Oh, here we go. Heather and Court.
Oh, hey, what's up? Midlife Prevost in the house. What did they say?
They said Kyle's great, but Andrew is bombing the show.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. They said, hi, Kyle and Andrew. Missing a lot of your live casts, but wanted to jump in and say hi. This is awesome. Thanks. All right. I need a driver and an escort to do things with and go to dinner. Oops. Guess that equals husband. That's a good one. Okay. Endless RVing. Hey, Heather and Court. There you go. Do you run any solar on your coaches? Here we go. How do you feel about solar? Is it worth the investment? Personally, I haven't put any solar on any of my coaches yet. I will be putting it on the Hoffman coach that I'm building, and I will be putting it on the double slide star coach that that has the lithium batteries in it. I did recently do a 5th wheel, and we did about 2,000 watts of solar on top of it. We hooked one AC unit up to it, and it's a 24 volt system. And basically, my customer called me the other day. He left Tuesday and went up north a little bit. Called me Tuesday. Well, he left Tuesday and calls me Thursday afternoon and said his generator never kicked on for 2 days. So obviously, his solar production is actually keeping up with keeping his residential fridge going. His air conditioners or his sorry, not his air conditioners. That's what's going to draw down, but his TV, everything, all of his lights, everything else that's in the fifth wheel was keeping up, and it took about 2.5 days for the generator to kick on. So it actually has been working, as planned on it.
Nice. I think Heather and Cord, I'm kind of catching some of the comments here. Quart's wondering why you would want to put in a 48 volt system in a Prevost.
Why would anyone put a 48 volt system in a Prevost? I wouldn't do that. No, I'm just kidding. So the higher the voltage, it's the lower the amperage, and you can use less gauge wire on it, and I believe that the efficiency actually goes up with less heat on the cabling, right? So there's what we're actually going to be doing on Heather and Court's coach, which maybe we'll get some video on. I think will be awesome. Is we're going to switch out his 4024 inverters, and we're going to end up putting magnums, which I'm a huge fan of, and we're going to be doing 4,000 watt 48 volt magnums on it, and we're going to do a 48 volt alternator also to charge while he's cruising down the road, and a 48 volt lithium bank on it.
So that's gonna be pretty cool. So that whole system, super chat, the king, thank you. What's the king have to say? He goes to the front of the line, $5 super chat.
Says I should start a channel too. Maybe the content could be convergence, maintenance, and bands.
Hey, I definitely encourage it. I've been trying to get Kyle to start a YouTube channel.
I can barely watch all your videos.
It's so hard. Yeah, it's a lot of work to film all these videos. But yeah, the more people in the bus world, the more YouTube channels, the better. Absolutely, King. Appreciate you. Glad you discovered us as well.
How long before they start making UFO RVs? We're gonna have to call. Prevost and ask them about that.
Yeah, I did hear about an RV with a helicopter on the roof. I'm gonna try to track that RV down here in the near future.
That's pretty cool.
Where it's got a hot tub and a helicopter on the roof. That'll be coming soon.
Oh, that's a good question. Do you guys ever think Tesla will ever create an RV chassis that coach builders can build off of in the future? That is a good question.
It'd be great to see if they could. I know Nikola Motors has been in the news a lot lately.
You know where they're building their plant? About 15 minutes from here.
Really?
Yeah. They just bought tons and tons of land over in Casa Grande.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd love to see that happen. It's just so much work to actually produce an RV, and it'll be really cool to see it happen. It's just a lot easier said than done. What else do we got here? 134 people in here. We appreciate all you guys. Oh, I gotta tell you guys too. I gotta show you guys. I definitely recommend heading over to Border Coach's website. I need to buy one of these off of you, bud. Look at these. The gray with the white. These are pretty cool. So they've got all different hats. If you can go on their website, they're $25 a piece and free shipping. Is that because I was in Arizona or?
Nah, we'll ship it.
Yeah, so free shipping, $25. Same hat like Kyle wears. They've got all different colors. Black with the white mesh in the back. Gray with the gray mesh. I might have to buy a couple of these, buddy.
What else? Just take them. They're all you.
Oh, buddy, I don't want anything
You're Andrew
for free.
Steele.
I don't want anything for free.
You got 50,000 followers, buddy.
Oh shoot, buddy. That's because I get to hang out with you. That's and cool people like Midlife Prevost, Court and Heather. Check this out too. He's got red Border Coach leasing. I got to give Kyle a huge shout out here. Definitely. I like this brown with the white mesh. Kyle's definitely cutting edge on style. He's got all the coolest gear here. Blue, I'm showing him everything because I went on your website. I'm like, there's no way he has all these in stock. So you guys just saw it. I think black and gray. There's a couple. I might grab a black one out of there too, and I'm gonna pay you for it too. And I went online. Like literally, it takes no time at all on your website. It's super simple. Shop now. You click on it. And he's got t-shirts too. So these t-shirts too, like just like a Prevost bus. This is on the hanger a little crooked here, but just like a Prevost bus, these are high quality t-shirts. Literally, you know how some t-shirts just wear better than others. Border Coach t-shirts here. I think this one's just a little crooked on the hanger here, but it's all good. I'll buy a t-shirt too. But how much are these? 25 on the website. $25 or?
Sounds right. I don't even remember.
I'm not sure. Yeah. So I'm gonna use some money here. Doing a little shopping while we're on the live stream here. You guys should do some shopping online too while you're at it. Get some Border Coach gear. Any other questions, man?
Here we go. Thanks for the answer. Figured buying a slightly older Newell would be better in the long run than a newer production coach for the same money.
I agree. Just be ready for some air leaks. As long as you're aware that you may have a little bit more maintenance and just more stuff to monitor, you have like a much higher quality rig that's going to last longer.
I think it's also important that nobody maxes out their budget on the buyout as well. Like always expect to have extra money to put into any coach you buy, whether it's a production coach, a Newell, a Prevost, because a lot of people will say, hey, my budget's 200 grand, but they don't actually have another 20, 30, 40, 50 on top of that to fix anything to make it safer, make it like, you know, the way they want it. So drop your budget down a little bit and get a little less of a coach and have the money to be able to fix up any problems that you run into.
Absolutely. I just saw a question about bath and a halves and the older Prevosts. Very true. They did not do a lot of bath and a half floor plans. That's one of the big advantage Newell has is Newell was doing a lot of bath and a half floor plans earlier on. Now, Featherlight had more bath and a halves early on, and then now you'll see the converters on the newer coaches are definitely doing a lot more bath and a halves. It's definitely a lot more popular floor plan. But yeah, no, and they go really quickly. That's why you don't see them on the market. One of my good buddies is really hot on a bath and a half. Him and his wife, like that's like the one thing about the floor plan is they need that bath and a half. So just because if he's having beers with the boys out in the living room and she's getting ready in the master suite there, just good to have those two restaurants.
Yeah, and to keep your guests in the front. Use the bathroom there, but then you have your private area in the back.
Yeah, or if your grandchildren sleep in the living room or something and need a little half bathroom to use, another reason. Yeah, the bath and a halves really hold their value well. Like on Newells, there's a couple rear bath Newell coaches, and those are really tough on resale just because if you have any guests and they have to go through the entire coach to get to the back of the coach to use the bathroom, it's not as friendly for folks that have guests. But if you don't have any guests, it works fine.
Yeah, there we go. Great point, Kyle. Keep 50 large for mods, repairs, and zeroing.
True story.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Let's see here.
Court and Heather just said something there.
Oh, the basitas. That's right. We were talking about the basitas for the Roger Klein.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about earlier, and that'd be a great way to see what it's like to get a Prevost or to live in a Prevost for a weekend.
Yeah, Aaron just asked, once a Prevost is zeroed out, how much should your annual cost be? I've always been told $10,000 a year. It may not be maybe zero this year and 20 next year or whatnot, but once it's zeroed out, what should you expect a year?
Oh boy, that's a tricky one. Yeah, for guys for non-commercial use, if you're only using it, what's an average RVer use it? 5,000 max a year,
if that. But I tell people, if you buy a Prevost to use it.
Yeah. No, these coaches want to run. Obviously we've talked about some of the buses I have over 1 million miles on them. Yeah, we put new engines in them and trannies and generators and updated the interiors on it. But look, the one coach is 1.4 million miles, and that thing runs so well. Like I think that thing will run to 3, 4, 5 million if you take care of it.
Yeah, no, and that's
they want to run.
That's one thing I want to bring up. One of my a gentleman I'm doing some consulting for, Michael. He had that bus inspected by you, and
the in and out one. Somebody was asking about it.
Yeah, it has a new buyer, but so he after he saw the inspection got a little cold feet on that bus, but he's looking at another coach with 500,000 miles on it. And I was just showing you the pictures. What do you think if Michael? I hope Michael's watching. Appreciate he's been very, very good to me, very good to Kyle. What should he expect? I mean, you saw that bus. What's your advice for him on that bus? We don't even want to tell you guys where it is or anything. We're gonna keep. He's got me on payroll, so we're gonna.
And I already told you for the price, which is undisclosed. I said I would buy it sight unseen.
Without an inspection.
Without an inspection for the photos I've seen, 500,000 miles on it, and for the price you've told me, sight unseen, absolutely.
And what do you think he should budget wise? To say worst case scenario. Obviously it's not here, so the first step would be to take it to a local, and you've got a network of affiliate mechanics across the country. What do you think his worst case scenario? You get the bus safe, and the date codes and the tires are pretty new, so it doesn't need new tires. Tires are all good. What do you think his budget should be for the mechanical side, and then to convert it and kind of do something cool and kind of custom? What are your thoughts?
I think we went through and we're talking, probably 30 to 40 a piece, from mechanical side to the interior side, and it may be 30 on one side and 40 on another side.
So between 60 and 80,000.
Sure, yeah. It may be less. It depends on how much upgrades he actually wants on it. He may like the floor plan as it is. And if he does, then put the money into underneath, and then we can decide maybe he wants to do 365s on it, which I think is a fantastic upgrade for a coach. It makes it ride way better. Obviously, that costs money. That coach, I believe, had bus air on it, if I remember the photos correctly, so he could go brushless motors there, which obviously is going to increase the efficiency on his air conditioning system, but it's obviously going to cost money.
If he doesn't change the floor, it's going to need a little bit of work on it. I guess you wouldn't really change the floor plan, but it's going to need some work.
Yeah.
So that not changing the floor plan is going to keep that budget down. If you're just putting in new floors, redo the upholstery, maybe change some couches or change a couple things or some seats. He's got to travel with his family. That's another question. He's got to travel safely with his family. That's his number one concern, is safely transporting his family. Can you do something with seat belts or something where?
Yeah, we can install seat belts. That's not a big deal to do. I think the biggest thing is to get the coach, go through it, make sure everything is functioning properly, make sure all the brakes are good, the airbags are good, there's no leaks, there's no problems with the mechanics of it. And then I always think customers should take the coach as is in a certain fashion and run it, even if it's for a weekend, and see how they like it, see what they don't like about it. Because just because you buy a coach and you want to do all the stuff to it, you may not need to do a lot of that stuff until you actually get in it and use it for like a weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point there.
Yeah, before you spend a bunch of money.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this project here. I'm gonna be doing some traveling here in the near future, and I'm gonna try to track this bus down. This could be really neat to see this whole transformation. And the Hoffman coach, I can't wait to see what you have here. So, when is the first Roger Klein and the Peacemakers concert?
The first one's October 15th, I believe. It's the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the next one's the following weekend, which is the 25th, I think.
So hopefully you're done with that bus by October 15th.
Well, I have to be, otherwise I'll be in a tent.
I'm going to be here banging on the door of that Hoffman looking for you. I want to see it completed. And it's funny that you guys are going to that show, because one of my detailing clients, Chuck, I can't remember his last name, but he watches the YouTube channel. Yeah. Really, really nice guy. He takes his wife out there every year, and he's always gets it cleaned after he goes out there, because buses will probably get a little dirty out there. But he always tells me just how it recharges his batteries. They go. He's raved about it. Yeah. And I've heard about it year after year, because I always wash his bus right after he goes out there, and now it's funny that you've got all these buses going out there. So I can vouch for Kyle that this is a cool event that he's setting up these Prevost at. And if you're new in the live stream, we talked about it earlier. You can rent a bus seat for $3,000 for the weekend. That includes the RV site, the bus, and then your concert tickets are separate. Those are about $250 or something for the concert tickets, he said.
Yeah, Roger Klein, Peacemakers.
Yeah, and Kyle will even buy you a cold beverage if you rent one of his buses too. So
there you go.
You hang out with a celebrity.
Yeah, right.
Prevost mechanics.
So there's a good question here from Tim Henry. He's planning on purchasing a Prevost soon and bring it up to Alaska. Any special consideration for bringing it up north? Yeah, absolutely, especially going into the winter months. Obviously, condensation and water in your airlines is a huge problem. So, you know, if you live in Alaska and you buy a Prevost, I would immediately replace the air dryer just to be safe. And then obviously drain all your tanks, make sure that there's no condensation or water in there, because if you freeze up, it'll affect your brakes, it'll affect your air ride, it'll affect your entire coach. And that's obviously no good when everything's air operated in the Prevost.
Yep.
You can some guys put alcohol in the lines, but if your air dryer is purging properly, you really don't need alcohol in there because you should be getting the condensation out of the lines. But it is possible.
Yeah, your air. When I fixed my air dryer filter on my Tiff and Fate, and it was like the guy had never. Like you could tell which filters were switched and which weren't.
Yeah.
And the air dryer filter was the one that it was like you could tell it was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to. I mean, it depends on the coach too, but on my particular coach, it's a little tricky to get to. So.
And on the Prevost, they have the filters, and they're fairly easy to change. I mean, generally on our coaches, we do it once a year, but we run 80,000 miles a year, and we replace the whole assembly. Like I don't even mess with the filters.
Yeah.
So. That's cool. Let's see.
Yeah, a lot of good questions in here today. I'm trying to think any questions I have for you, Kyle. You're a busy man. It's
Heather and Cora there again. We got what is the best upgrade for an RV, mechanical or cosmetic? Well, always mechanical first because that's safety. But obviously, cosmetic is important as well. So that's what we were saying. You always, if you're going to buy a new coach, always have the budget to be able to upgrade your coach. I guess not upgrade, but to make it mechanically safe and sound and take it to somebody that actually knows what they're doing with a coach, because you don't want to be driving around with an unsafe coach. But then cosmetic, definitely make it the way you want it. And I think most people that have Prevost don't just buy it for a year. It's a lifetime commitment. Once you get into a Prevost, you're always gonna have a Prevost. Well, at least myself.
Yeah. Another question there I just saw. What do you charge for an inspection?
Well, it's the hourly shop rate, and it all depends on how many hours usually. But it ends up usually being around $500, $600, depending on how in depth we go. The Prevosts are a lot easier. Like the MCI takes a little bit longer, just because it's a lot older systems and checking over stuff like that, but the Prevost we can do fairly quickly.
Cool. Yeah, good question. Someone just asked about the tread I saw. 6-year-old tires. I don't know. I think it's 6 years. Probably ready to get some new tires. What do you think? 6-year-old date codes on tires?
I mean, what's crazy is there is no DOT, especially in the commercial side. Obviously, the RV is there's no restrictions. Like you don't even have to have a CDL to drive one of those, which I think is crazy. You can have a 45-foot stacker, whatever the length stacker are on top of a 45-foot Prevost, But in the commercial world, you would think that there would be at least age restriction on tires, and there's not.
No age restriction on. That's pretty.
No, nice. In commercial, you could have 20-year-old tires, and they're legal as long as your tread depth is within.
Wow.
However, I would never run a coach over 8 years.
8 years is what
eight's max.
That's interesting. I just learned something new. Yeah. I'm trying to keep these comments keep popping up on the screen, but they don't always say. And we got 153 of you in here. We're gonna make a cool announcement here in a little bit too. 1990 Country Coach concept. Question, so they have a 1990 Country Coach concept, and they're wondering if anybody has the records for that. I'll call around to my buddies up at Country Coach and see if I don't know. That's a tough one because Country Coach went out of business in 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. So I don't know, and I know a lot of people bought different parts of the company, like different property from the company. So
yeah, that's an interesting story. Like your video on it, I think that was very interesting. interesting story of how they all kind of like started in one place, and then they all split off, but they're all from kind of the same area.
That Lane County, Oregon is a very impressive area. They
Yeah.
really take pride in their work, and there's a lot of RVs, high quality stuff built in that area.
So Christian says, I'm looking at some O2XL and H345. Some have the 365 front wheel conversions. This is a must have or a hassle when looking for tires out on the road. Okay, so back in the day, which I guess was 5-10 years ago, the 365s were way harder to find out on the road, but now they're starting to stock them in a lot of different places. Like, I haven't really had that many issues finding them even in remote places, to be quite honest, and especially in the RV world. You have a day to be down, worst case scenario, waiting for a tire to get to you, right? In the band entertainer world, we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
We need to get to the next show, otherwise the band misses the concert, It's not a must, but I'm a huge advocate for it, because I don't quote me on this, but I personally feel that the 315s, the fronts of these coaches are way too heavy for the 315s, and they're right at the maximum capacity. I've actually had a coach that was an XL2, Eddie Money's tour bus, was up in, I think it was Oregon, and we went on a weigh scale, and there was bags, and there was people in it, no more than we should have, and we actually went on a weigh scale, and they shut us down because we were quote-unquote overweight.
The front axle.
The front axle. But all it was just baggage. It's not like there was heavy stuff up there. So literally the only way we got out of it was they had the clients had to empty the front bay of the bus, move it to the later bays, and the people all had to get out of the front and walk to the back of the bus, and then they were underweight.
Wow.
However, with the 365s, I think it's an extra 1,000 pounds you get.
That would.
Yeah, like I said, don't quote me on that one, but you get more weight capacity with the 365s because it's more rubber to the ground.
Yeah, and I'll say just on the two buses that I've driven, or the few that I've driven, the one that I drove with the 365 steers, a lot of you saw when I got
the studio. You almost hit my fence.
I almost hit. To Kyle's gate. That would have been really expensive, but no, that bus had 800,000 miles, and I think that was kind of like one of those moments where I'm like, all right, I got to step up for my Tiffin because this is a whole different league. So
yeah. But yeah, you can always add that after. I mean, if they're on the coach, then great. Then you get a good buy. If they're not on there, then you can update it.
And if someone brings it to you to get the 365 update, what is that for? All new rims, studs?
I think we just did one, and it was like $4,500 for one axle. So that was like just the front tires with rubber, nut studs, and rims. It was $4,500.
So, but when you do it, you usually do the front steers and then the rear. Bags?
Well, when we're talking about the old style rims, I end up doing a whole entire bus.
Okay.
But yeah, if somebody just wants to do the fronts, then we can do that, and then if they want to do the tags, we can do that. Like if you want to break it up, you can.
So 4,500 an axle. So you're
basically
about 13,500 to do a whole bus.
Well, then you have four on the drive. So basically, I think if I remember correctly, it was around like 18 grand or something.
18,000.
Do an entire bus with all new rubber. But do it when you need new tires. That's the best time to do it, really.
And another thing to keep in mind too is that if you're looking at a bus and they do have that upgrade, that's an $18,000 upgrade. So keep that in mind that if you're looking at two buses that are the same year, one has that upgrade, one doesn't. Definitely a value point there.
Yeah. And then Hugh Manning says, Kyle, have you ever done conversion yourself? Yeah, we do tons of them. I've never done start to finish conversion.
Almost on that Hoffman.
Almost. The Hoffman and the country coach is gonna almost be start to finish. I prefer remodels. I like going in, and I'm not saying I wouldn't do start to finish, but I do like the remodel stuff because I like to go in and make what the converter did better, more modern. And every time you pull a wall off, you don't know what's going to be behind it. You know what I mean? Figuring out all the logistics behind that, I think, is a lot more challenging for me to figure out how to make it work than just a brand new build. But at some point, I'm sure I've thought about doing a whole new build, but it takes a lot of hours. So
yeah,
maybe eventually.
Yeah, and if we're missing your comment, you can always put a couple bucks in a super chat and make sure we see it. trying to answer as many questions as you guys have there. The comments kind of pop up for a second.
What are your top-rated coach converters and ones that aren't so great?
This guy just asked how much difference between a Prevost and a Newell. I did a video all about what's the difference between a Prevost XL, H, and a Newell that I filmed, and I talked about a lot of the differences on those, but only scratched the surface. I hope to definitely get some more stuff on Newell in the near future here. So. What are we getting? How are we coming on time? We've been going. This time flies when we're sitting here chatting buses with Kyle.
We're back up to
160 some people.
Yeah.
We got a special announcement coming here soon. Any other good questions you see coming? I can't keep up. They flash for a second and then they disappear.
Yeah.
So
what is the best way to determine if it is a good coach to buy? Well, first off, you need to like the visual on it first. And make sure that it's what you like or what you can actually visualize in changing, whether it's going to be the counters, the floor, whatever. And then once you're okay with that, then you need to have it inspected by a third party. That's very important.
Well, and I think too, just showing up, touch it, feel it, smell it, drive it, all of that. The more time you spend with that coach, the more you're going to be able to appreciate. And then and when you are looking at it, like, don't rush yourself. Like, walk around it in different angles of the light. Open up every single cabinet door, and it'll start telling a story. I mean, that's the best thing you could do is open up Hey, thanks, Endless RVing. We appreciate all the super chats. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. But yeah,
Scott Cook, Kyle, shouldn't you be working on the bus and not YouTubing?
True story. He's got work to get done, but I appreciate him taking some time to share.
We're promoting your coach, buddy.
Oh, is that one of your?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of your clients. He's
he's awesome.
Which bus is
Country Coach. That we're doing the full remodel.
Full remodel on that. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be. We showed that a little bit in another video, but like they were. If you see that video, like they were going ham in there, so we couldn't even film it because
he flew down here with his wife and went and picked out all the colors and everything last week. So
nice.
We got everything on order, everything's coming, and we're gonna get down on it. But it's fully torn apart right
now. What
so.
day can Scott plan on seeing his coach?
What's that?
What date can Scott plan on his coach being finished?
Now you got me on the spot. No, but by the end of the year.
By the end of the year. Dan, thank you for the super chat. We greatly appreciate that. He asked, cost estimate, great question. I was just asking them on the 360 camera mods because one of the drivers was just talking about it and showing me actually some stuff when you were inside there.
Yeah.
But they're still kind of testing it, and that's the first bus that you guys are putting it on. And then there's all different levels of doing it where they can make the cameras more flush.
Oh, the 360?
Yeah, but I know you're still kind of in the practicing stages to figure it all out.
Yeah, so we just installed, on Friday, we installed all the cameras on it. We had to do front, rear, and then 2 on the sides. And it's an aerial view of the actual coach, which is
super cool.
Super cool. We can make a video on it once we're done.
Like new high-end automobiles and the high-end converters.
Yeah. So when you back up, you can kind of see where you're going.
Overhead, it's like a drone is flying over.
Yeah, but it's an aftermarket conversion. We're putting it on a 2001, and it went pretty good. But obviously, it was labor intensive to pull down all the panels inside and run all the wires. And
what are you thinking? I mean, do you have any ballpark cost for that? And then he also asked ballpark cost for a lithium-ion conversion, like you're doing on Heather and Court's bus.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured out what the lithium upgrade is going to cost. Just because I have all the components set aside and I have all the math calculated on the systems, but I haven't fully figured out as far as what the cost of everything is going to be. And every coach is different because it depends on the placement of solar and then how their alternator can be set up on the engine and then how we power it and how much wiring we have to do. And then we have to, there's 48 volt AC units, which is actually really cool now. So thinking about going DC instead of putting AC through the inverter and losing 20% power through your inverters with the air conditioning, so we can do DC powered AC units as well. So there's a bunch of different ways that we can go about doing it.
So we're so you're still in research and development stage.
Well, we're kind of past the research and development now. We're putting it into actual use.
Before you can start quoting people, though,
I need to get Courtney Heather's bus done.
Yeah, and I respect that because Kyle wants to be as competitive as possible without shooting himself in the foot.
Yeah.
Because if he shoots you guys too low of a quote without knowing stuff, then he shoots himself in the foot. If he shoots it too high, then he's, so I respect that. You want to have as much knowledge as possible. Sorry, Dan, I appreciate the super chat. Any ballpark? I mean, can you give like a huge high and a huge low? Like, Dan threw us $5. Yeah, Dan, we appreciate that.
So the cameras, I don't know because the customer actually purchased the unit and sent it out here. So I'm just doing the install on it. So I don't know how much the actual cameras cost. I'd have to look at it. It's from a company, I think they're called REI.
Yeah, it was REI.
Was it REI? Yeah.
I wonder if that's the same like camping supplies.
I don't think so. Because every time we searched to find some literature on it, I wanted to see what the price was. The camping site.
They're trying to sell you some.
Yeah, and then it just comes down to labor. I mean, we had 3 guys working on it, and that was for at least 8 hours. So, and we're not done. So we'll probably have another 4 or 5 hours Monday to finish it up. So we're going to be, probably with everything 20 to 30 hours in.
At what, 150 an hour for labor?
Yeah, 120 an hour right now.
120 an hour.
Yep. Okay, so somebody keeps asking about the materials used in the Prevost roof, metal or composite, and does it differ from an H or an X? It's all aluminum, I believe, is what's up there. It's thin, very, very thin metal, and I believe it's aluminum or it's thin sheet metal, maybe stainless of some sort. I forget what they actually use.
But it does have that monocoque construction, so it's got those steel beams.
Yeah, you got all the steel beams that go over, and then it's just kind of a seamless roof that goes over the top, but I believe they flex down, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
Cameras cost from 500 to 2K is what one of the gentlemen just said there.
Oh, okay. See, they know better than us.
My search for a Prevost is going well. Thanks for the question, Flamingo Lifestyle. I'm searching. I'm just searching for all different types of RVs. Now I'm getting some stuff fixed. I had a leak on my coach, so I got to get my coach repaired. And but I don't know. I don't know if Michael doesn't jump on that bus. I'm tempted. I don't know. We'll see. I got to keep grinding it out. I think. If I had Kyle's wallet, I'd probably already have a Prevost in the driveway. But I gotta keep making these YouTube videos and trying to make a couple moves to make a couple bucks. But hopefully I'll have a new coach sometime soon. But right now, I just got to get my coach fixed. It was like right when you think you're like, oh, I can get out of this, it's in tip-top shape. Well, I might have to dump $5 or $10 grand into it. So every time you get hit with that $5,000 or $10,000 bomb in RVing, that will delay getting a new RV. So we'll see. Well, and I don't even know how bad it's going to hit me to get that leak fixed. But that's number one, is getting my coach fixed first.
What else we got? There's 169 people now.
That's a lot of people. We appreciate you guys. I was talking earlier, if you're new and you just jumped in, Kyle's renting his tour buses. You can rent a tour bus for a weekend for $3,000. Roger Klein and the Peacemakers. And then also, too, people can rent tour buses. It's a great idea. Like, if they want to tailgate at, hopefully when sports get going again, tailgate at a game or something. You can do quotes.
Family weddings, reunions.
Even a guest house. Like, say you have your family coming to visit you,
and you don't want them in your house. You stick them out in the Prevost.
Well, if there's
back of the lot.
Yeah, if there's not enough room in a house, or there's hotels are far away, not a bad idea to rent a Prevost. Have your drivers drop it off, and it's like a temporary guest house.
Sure. Yeah.
For a couple days, and then that way they're not paying for a driver. Where if they're only paying the daily fee for the bus, because it's just sitting, especially here in the Phoenix area where you don't have to spend a lot of fuel or time to get it there, and then they don't have to pay that daily rate for the driver. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea for someone to consider if they want to have their family close. So. Any other good questions here, man? We're an hour into it.
Do we offer driving classes for Prevost?
That's a great idea, buddy. I think you're a good teacher, man.
Well, I guess we probably could, but the guys that know it better than both of us put together would be the guys that, like Ron and George that have been here. They could take some people for a spin and teach them. They've done probably over a couple million miles.
You've got some veteran bus drivers. If we could get some of these bus drivers, I mean, Kyle and I, we're the freaking rookies around here. You've got some veterans but none of them want to be in front of a camera.
They're all behind the scenes.
Yeah, he's got some, these guys got some great stories. They're like, you don't have any cameras on right now. All right, all the cameras are off. Let me tell you the best stories. It's like, come on, guys. So, yeah, I'd love to get some of your guys' stories. You got some good drivers back there. What other kind of questions you guys have?
Marathon XLs are sweet. Yeah, we actually have one here right now that we're doing some paint touch up on the front, and we just put 2 brand new Magnum inverters in, did the over the road Marathon Air update, or not update, but got it working. We did the dash AC on it, and we did Cruise Air work on it. They are great coaches. Yeah,
someone said Liberty Coach would give me a coach for free. Definitely not. It would be a lot of. Yeah, I would too. But no, Liberty Coach has been extremely good to me, and I'm very thankful for them just letting me, promote their product. I truly believe Liberty Coaches are the best of the best. That's not paid. That's just my real opinion. So I don't expect anything from them, but they have been extremely good to me. And the new Liberties, they'll have a new 2021 for like a week, and it'll get sold, like their inventory. If you can check out libertycoach.com's inventory. $50, Scott. You got my attention really quickly here. Thank you, Scott Cook.
There's Scott.
Was that your country coach guy?
Yeah.
Man, I like Scott. Let me know if you want me to just stand over.
You can't give us $50 if I'm supposed to be working on your coach.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow him around with the camera for you, Scott. Hey Cole, welcome in. What was Scott's question?
So Scott's got a good one. It says tire question. We spoke about Bridgestone versus Goodyear on the sidewalls. And what are your thoughts on others such as Toyo? Also, Andrew, thanks for all you're doing on your channel. Great job out there.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Greatly appreciate it.
So we were talking about the Bridgestone and the Michelin tires, and a lot of people are die-hard Michelin tire fans. I am a Bridgestone fan. I have Bridgestone lease program with my commercial side, and I run the 365s. And his question is as far as the sidewalls, if you look at the Michelin, the last tread, like you have your treads that go on the tire, the last tread is maybe 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch. But on the Bridgestones, it's a little bit fatter, which is about 1 inch. So and where this is good on the Bridgestone versus Michelin is if you're parked and you accidentally hit a curb, or you turn it and it clips a curb, it'll actually rip part of the Michelin off, whereas there's a little more meat on the bone to where it's not going to do any damage on the Bridgestone ones. And I've seen a lot longer life out of the Bridgestone ones on the 365s versus the Michelins.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm a huge Michelin. I grew up being taught that Michelins are the best. Just put Michelins on everything. But
they're both great tires. But I think in the 365 world, I believe that I get better use out of the Bridgestone side, and it's not because I have them for my lease side of stuff, but that's what I would put on my own personal coach. 365s all day long, Bridgestones.
Cool. And Scott's having you do the 365 upgrade on that country.
Yeah.
That's a cool country.
I got all those rims sitting out in the shop right now.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. Hey, Sadie, come back here. Come on. We gotta keep Sadie lady close by here. Come on. She can. Sadie lady's she's a sweetheart on camera, but she can turn a switch and get protective. So I don't know if someone would walk in. I wouldn't.
She's good.
Yeah, she's.
So Mike says, any reason to get a non-slide Prevost? So yeah, there is a reason. If you're a husband and a wife and you're just driving and parking and sitting, slides are great. If you're actually going to have several kids and people that are traveling while you're driving, non-slide's perfect for that, because when the slides are actually in, there's less room in the galley area. It depends on how many slides you actually have. But there's actually more room to walk generally because there's no slide, if that makes sense. Who's that, George?
What's going on, buddy?
Say hi to
we're
George.
live right now. We're
I'm
totally
sorry.
live. Yeah, it's all good.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just make sure we don't use
There's
any
George.
profanity
George,
or
how many
anything.
millions of miles have you driven around the country?
A couple of million.
A couple of million.
Couple of million miles around the country.
Yeah.
And Canada.
In Canada, all
From
right.
coast to coast in Canada.
There you go.
How long have you been driving tour buses for?
What, 7 years, something like that?
Yeah.
For you, though, about 4 years.
Yeah. How is Kyle to work for? Well, we got you live. There's only 170 people watching.
Oh, well, in that case. He's probably one of the best guys I've ever worked with. I'm
Thanks,
an
George.
independent driver, so he's not my boss, and I'm my own boss, but he's like the greatest guy you'd ever want to meet, and he's very patient and tolerant with me, and I appreciate stuff like that, especially when I first started driving for him. He was very patient with me, and I really appreciated that.
That's
Great guy.
cool, man.
Thanks, George.
That's why we're here hanging out with him, and that's why I think that's why 170 people are watching him live right now, because he's got a lot of good wisdom. So, if you guys have any quick questions for George, we've got a veteran tour bus driver here. Any quick stories you got? What's your best tour bus driving story live?
A burlesque show called the Suicide Girls Black Heart Tour. 11 girls and me on a bus for 2.5 months. And you know what burlesque is? They sing, they
Yeah.
dance, and take their clothes off. That's who I
Oh,
tour.
we got to be very careful about how we yeah. So
But that's burlesque.
yeah. Very cool, very cool.
I love those girls. I treat them like my daughter, though. I give them I respect them, and I give them their privacy, and they appreciate it. They text me even now, going, "Hey, we really miss you, blah, blah, when do you want to go on tour?" And I'm going, "Tomorrow? That would be great." And they're going, "How about fall of 2021? I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, well, that'll have to be a future YouTube video. We'll have to come catch up with you. And
Well, we'll be here at Mesa, so we usually come in here to Mesa.
when are you guys? Are you hearing more about concerts starting? I'm sure a lot of people are probably wondering when the concert season. Have you guys have any inside information on that?
I don't, other than, people saying, yeah, maybe fall of next year, maybe. It's still up in the air, but I'm going on history and the Spanish flu thing, and that was pretty horrendous back then.
Yeah.
It took a couple of years before they were able to get groups together.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to.
Oh
things
God, I
getting
wish
back
it was
to
like
normal.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I bet you do, man. I bet you do. You've been playing a lot of golf in the meantime?
Every day?
That's what's up, man. That's turning lemons into lemonade right there. Do we have another super chat, or that's Scott's still
No,
on
it's still
top?
Scott. Oh yeah, but somebody else asked about Toyos. As far as Toyo tires, I don't believe that they actually make a 365. I think the only two people that are currently making 365s are the Bridgestone and the Michelin. So it's not really even a question to have those on the 365s. You could put them on the drives, but then it would be mismatched. I probably wouldn't do that. So somebody said, "Grab a seat, George."
Do they have any questions for George? This guy's got a lot of wisdom.
Where do the drivers sleep? Where do you sleep, George?
We get hotels every night. But when I'm here, I'm sleeping on the bus. The bus I drive for the tours. But when I'm on the road, I get a hotel room every night. Sometimes they'll do a hotel buyout where I stay on the bus. And they just pay me out for that hotel price.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, here we go. How would you compare a Prevost with a Bluebird Wonder Lodge?
That's a good question. I mean, a lot of people are really loyal to those Bluebirds.
Yeah,
A lot of people.
I've been in a few of the Wonder Lodges. They are nice, but that's not even a comparison in my book. It's like It's like a Pinto and a Ferrari.
Hey, you can't hate on Bluebirds. I don't think I've ever had a Bluebird Wonder Lodge on my channel, but a lot of people that I have a lot of respect for speak very highly of them.
Yeah.
So definitely a step above a lot of other stuff.
How many miles can you drive per day?
Great question.
Oh, they have to be within DOT, which is 10 hours. So as many hours you
And as
get.
many miles as you can get in 10 hours.
Yeah. So
And that depends
what's the
on,
max? Probably, like if you're on flat ground going through Texas.
I can get just
600?
about 600 miles
Yeah.
Wow.
in 10 hours
Wow.
doing the speed limit, which is 80 miles an hour
In Texas, yeah.
in Texas, in Wyoming.
Yeah. And you'll run 80 miles an hour in a tour bus?
No.
No. What's the fastest you'll go in a tour bus?
Oh, I'll do 80 miles an hour if it's downhill. But usually I drive between 74 and 76 miles an hour.
Wow. So you comfortably run them at 75, and that's
Yeah.
you feel safe, and you put
Well,
down
it's-
millions
yeah.
of miles. doing
Well, that depends on the condition of the road, and the condition of the traffic, things like that.
Yeah.
And the freeways, if it's wide open, yeah, I'll do 75, 76
In
miles an hour.
optimal conditions.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Hugh, tour bus driver for a burlesque show. Hey Kyle, you hiring drivers? I may work for free. There's no tours right now, buddy.
175 people. We appreciate all you guys. We're
Are Prevost speed limited from the manufacturer? No.
They're governed.
Yeah,
What's the
we
fastest
put a
you-
governor on them though.
What's the fastest each of you? Same question. I'd like to hear both of your answers. What's the fastest you've ever driven a Prevost, and what's the fastest you've ever driven a Prevost?
Non-commercially, George.
Not
Private coach.
a private coach, maybe about. I think it was like going through Eisenhower Pass, which is between Grand Junction and Denver.
You mean
going
you
down-
were on a private race strip, right? You were on a private race strip somewhere in Colorado. You mean? Sorry.
the cannonball race.
Yeah. So yeah, how fast did you get up to?
About 95, 96.
95.
But I put on the Jake brake and let that slow me down and keep me at that speed.
Wow.
Otherwise, it would just carry me down that hill 120 easy. Some of those hills.
Were you comfortable at 95?
Well, it was wide open. It was there was no traffic, and there was hardly any. There was no snow. Let's put it that way. If anybody knows the Eisenhower Pass between Grand Junction and Denver, it's up and over the hill, over the Rocky Mountains, and then down. And it's quite a downhill, especially when you're doing it in the snow. It's tricky, very, very tricky.
Kyle, what's the fastest you've ever driven?
It was that Hoffman. I think I did about 90 in the Hoffman. I looked down, I was like, whoa.
Nice. What's the fastest you guys have ever driven in an RV, and what do you guys drop a comment below? I want to hear.
Yeah, I don't advise driving
Yeah,
fast.
it's not,
Not something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, these are not race cars. They're definitely not made for speed.
So here's a good one. Does Prevost provide you with rig-specific maintenance manuals for servicing? Yes, they do. If you go to PrevoCar.com, they have every manual listed on there that you would ever need to know.
Any year, any.
Yeah, all
Any
wiring
model.
diagrams, air diagrams, you can get anything and it's all free. That's what's great about Prevost.
Do you do any software updates to get more power out of the motors at all?
Yes and no. You can some of them will be 475 horsepower, and then you can bump it up to 500 on some of them, depending on which engine's in there. But like Ron's bus, we were able to jump it up to 500 because it's on an RV chassis, whereas the entertainers, I believe, are set at 475.
So the entertainer chassis are a little different than the RV chassis.
Yeah, the wheelbase is longer in a entertainer chassis because they want the bunk section of where people are actually sleeping over the wheels. Well, in between the wheels versus being on the wheels.
And then the seated buses are a different chassis as well.
Yes, because they actually have all the windows.
So they have 3 different types of
Yeah.
chassis. Well, that's interesting. 181 people in here. Wow. At least I have you guys. Last week I went on, I'm like sitting in my living room and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go live here. And I hit the live, and I was like just by myself. It was pretty. I was a little more nervous. At least I have some emotional support here
Back
today.
up.
So,
Is it? Yeah, it's very intimidating sitting next to a YouTube rock star like Andrew.
No, I'm here with the real. These guys are the real deal here. I missed that.
Oh, here we go. Andrew, I always ask about the Selena bus. I think this could run a tour along the Southwest U.S., end up in Corpus Christi, Texas, at her statue museum. Also hit the Hard Rock Cafe in downtown San Antonio. That is a great idea. Just go back and forth.
Oh, relive the Selena tour. That's a cool idea. Yeah, Kyle said about a year on the Selena, on the Silver Eagle, and about 2 weeks on the Hoffman.
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad. We've had you on here for about an hour and 20 minutes. That's a lot of work that could have gotten done on that bus. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, dude.
Do the brake lights turn on the Prevost when the exhaust brakes are applied? Yes, they do. At least on the XL2s. I don't know about the XLs.
I think they do on everything. I
Do
think
they?
they do. Yeah. And if you guys are just coming in, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but Kyle's got all different color hats, border coach leasing. Every hat you buy helps Kyle convert his Hoffman coach. It's gonna be a little bit nicer. So, every T-shirt too. He's got really cool T-shirts and hats, all different colors. Definitely good for $25, and just border coach leasing. It's a good. People ask me like, "What's that all about?" It has a high-end look to it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good conversation piece. What part of Wisconsin? All over the state. I'm from central Wisconsin originally, and then I have a lot of family in Kenosha, Wisconsin as well.
The Brat Stop?
Yeah, the Brat Stop.
Yeah, I love that
the Brat
place.
Stop. Right off of, what is it, Highway 50 and 94, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And Kenosha, Wisconsin is where a
I've
lot of my family is.
I've had a lot of good times there. Every time we tour, we stop at the Brat Stop.
Oh.
Go there if you're ever there.
Oh, I'll tell my parents. I'm gonna have to call my parents tonight. I think my parents, I'm sure, had a lot of nights in the Broad Stop. To a prospective RVer whose biggest concern is to drive a coach, I'll let you guys know. So I had never driven a coach other than like a little 32-foot gas Class A, which I would say also too, it's start small. Start with maybe a Sprinter van, and then something a little bit bigger and get a little more comfortable. But
Like a bandwagon after that.
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, or go with a friend that has a coach too. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that, Charlene.
Right.
Greatly appreciate that.
Andrew is a cheesehead.
Yeah, I haven't. Oh, yeah. If you guys couldn't tell already, I mean, yeah, that's not hard to tell. I lost my thought there. I forgot what I was talking about.
Driving a big RV.
Oh yeah, so I flew to Florida, and I had never driven a diesel pusher like anything bigger than a 32-foot coach, and I flew to Fort Myers, bought my coach that I have now, my 42-foot Tiffin Phaeton, and I drove it back, and I was white-knuckled for the first 500 miles, and then after about 1,000 miles, started feeling good. By the time I got to like Abilene, Texas, I thought, I had this down. And so, I mean, that's the best thing is, slowly get your reps in, but you just got to get reps in.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't do any detailing in California. Appreciate that, though, but I haven't been doing any detailing lately.
I like that. We proved we will watch the live one. Step It Up adds microphone. Funny enough, I was a sound guy for my whole life on tour, so I have tons of microphones for you, man.
I should set that up, buddy. I didn't know anything about this a year and a half ago. I didn't own a computer, so this is all new to me. So hopefully we get the sound a little bit better. I apologize. Wow, $79 in super chats. We appreciate that. That's
194 people want to listen to us talk.
That's very generous. Yeah. Well, you got a lot of wisdom. Any other good questions you see coming up there? What did Charlene White appreciate that super chat? Charlene, did she have a question?
She did not have a question. Do you have a question, Charlene?
We'd love to answer. Yeah, if you super chat.
So I think maybe the next
Real,
time.
real quick, have I ever seen a coach completely repainted? Yes. Dean Laux repainted his coach. That was a '08 Prevost Liberty coach. I've got a few videos with Dean Laux. It was 100 to 150,000 for like a super. That's a Dean Laux paint job. That's the top of the food chain. But I mean, I've heard of guys, all different prices. But that's the top of the top to get your coach repainted. And I think he only repaints Liberty, or he'll only design paint for a Prevost Liberty coach. But I've heard of guys like for 30 grand. I think I got a quote to get my Tiffin repainted for like 30 grand for a pretty good guy. Man, I'm missing all these comments. Yeah, Dean is awesome.
Ever seen a hot tub in a Prevost?
No, but there's a coach with a hot tub on the roof, and I am getting ready to go on a journey to go check that out. And we've got 190 people in here. What time is it, buddy? I know you got to.
4:30.
We got to keep an eye on the clock here. So
the next live chat, should we maybe go around and check out some projects in the shop? What do you think? Do you think people like that, or are they just like listening to us?
I think we should. Yeah, we should go live. But I know I'm on your Wi-Fi in your office here, where I don't know how live works without being hooked to Wi-Fi.
Oh, we have Wi-Fi around the whole shop.
Oh, cool. Yeah. No, I think we could, as long as we just kill all of any music, because any music I can get hit with a copyright.
Right.
And just make sure like no mechanics are like cursing buses as we walk around the corner.
Well, today's a good day because it's Saturday.
Yeah.
There's nobody here. Everyone's off work today.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely do that. Definitely do that soon. So I want to get some ideas from you guys. Hey, $10. Greatly appreciate that, Mary Ellen Stewart. And Mary Ellen, I see
Mary
a lot.
Ellen!
Yeah, I love it. I see
Mary Ellen's the behind the country coach. The tiled one that we did.
Oh, another different coach.
Different country.
Oh, we've got all of Kyle's customers in the live chat. Yeah, I think I see Mary Ellen's comments too. So, thank you. Mary's looking for George's.
George's there. Good, George.
Hey.
You have to catch me when I come back from Atlanta. Sorry.
Yeah, George, you walked in here at the right time. Thank you, appreciate that. Someone said we were doing a great job, and then their name flashed away.
So actually, Mary Ellen, can you put up the link? Can people see all these comments, or is this just?
Yes, they can. Yeah.
Mary Ellen, if you could put up the link for the Basitas we've been talking about for the Roger Klein show, that'd be awesome. So people can click on it if they want to end up booking it.
Yeah, and it might YouTube. So YouTube may flag comments. Like if you put a website in a comment, there's a good chance that YouTube will flag it as spam. But I will try to put it. I'll put it in the description. I'll repost this video when we're done.
Yeah.
And I'll put that in the description below.
Sweet. Okay, cool.
And then I think we should make another video just kind of all about it, just because I'm sure a lot of people missed it. Greatly appreciate that. A lot of really good comments. So guys, I need your help. I'm gonna be trying to travel around and find the best YouTube content for you guys. I've been having a blast with this, and I think I'm gonna be going to Denver, Oklahoma, back to Elkhart, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and now maybe New Jersey. So I'm looking for other YouTube content too. So if you guys have any cool YouTube content, something like, I'm looking for something that's going to get 1 million views, like something, just some crazy cool stuff. And I don't have too much free time in between all these places. But if you guys drop a comment, if there's any cool things that you think I should make a video out of, I appreciate any comments. And if you miss this live and you're watching it later, you can shoot me an email at ansautodetail@gmail.com. But I was talking to Kyle, and Kyle, what do you think would be the best way? I got to hit Denver, Oklahoma, Indiana, Pennsylvania. What do you think would be the best way to do that?
Oh, in a Prevost with one of our drivers.
I think that's a good plan, and I think you guys may see me.
You got your bags packed?
Cruising around.
You got your dog.
My bags are packed. Sadie lady's here. I think you've got a bunch of Prevosts out back there. I don't know, for the right deal. I think I might be in a Prevost. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I should hop in one of Kyle's tour buses and Yep, Newell Factory in Oklahoma, definitely on the list. I'd love to see the Liberty Coach Factory. Miami, Oklahoma is on the agenda for sure. Private charter aircraft. So if I was going to charter a private aircraft, definitely a great way to see all those places.
Yeah, but then you end up in hotels. You got your dog. You know what I mean? You got to have transportation from the FBO over to
Everywhere
hotel.
I go, I'm gonna have to
Whereas
get
you're in a
rental cars.
bus. I mean, it's great to be in a jet. You get long distances very quickly. But if you're in a bus, then you have all your living quarters. You can cook food. You can have your dog with you. You can see different sites. Versus in a plane, you're just hopping spot to spot.
Yeah, museums too. I want to hit some museums.
Yeah.
If you guys know of any really cool museums somewhere in that whole area that I'm going to be going through, I might go down to Nashville, Tennessee too. I've got a bunch of buses I'm going to look at. I'm thinking a tour bus is the way to travel, guys.
There you go, Scott Cook. George can meet you there with the bus. That would be good. So fly the plane, and then George picks you up and takes you around, and then fly the plane to the next one.
Well, so I
just hop 2 buses, so you always have a bus, right?
So I do
Like
have
the Eagles.
Yeah.
yeah, I have a video about that called Private Jets and Prevost, and there was some guy at Sturgis that actually
Oh
did
yeah, I
that.
saw that. Yeah.
That did that any good. Yep, I'm going to the Newell factory, so I'm gonna be there here in the next few days, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And what else do you guys think I should see?
Martin Guitar Factory. That's cool. That'd be a cool spot.
The one in San Diego?
Bethlehem, PA, he says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Newell factory's definitely tour bus. See, that's what I'm thinking. So my thoughts are.
There you go, son. He said we're amazing.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. Greatly appreciate that. $20 super chat. Greatly appreciate that. And I don't want to. I want to say the name properly.
What's the name?
Man, I'm like reading from 10 feet away, so I'm trying to. Chuck Wolf Creek Run in Pagosa Springs. Beautiful RV park, I've heard. Now the cool thing about a tour bus is, here's what I'm thinking, is if I was on a tour bus, I could be like in Denver, go film some cool stuff, and then you have a tour bus driver, you go to sleep at
Pass
night,
out, sleep,
wake up in Oklahoma the next day, go film some cool stuff, go to sleep, wake up in Indiana. So I'm thinking a tour bus.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That is a great spot.
Cleveland.
Oh, Dayton, Ohio. What was in Dayton, Ohio? Yes, the Air Force Museum. My
Yeah.
best video I filmed there last year, a tour of Air Force One. I definitely want to swing by
They
there.
actually have an old bus parked at the Rock and Roll. What is it? I think is it Willie Nelson's?
Johnny
Cash. That's right.
Where's
Johnny
Rock
Cash's
and
bus.
Roll? Where's
In
that?
Cleveland.
in Cleveland, Ohio. His bus is parked on the outside. That'd be cool.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
can probably do that. That's in
We gotta get
between.
laminate so we can get them for free.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, anytime we tour, if we had our tour laminates with us, they'd always let you in for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess it'd be hard to
Otherwise,
get away
it's
with
like
that right
$20.
Yeah,
now.
I'm on tour.
Yeah, and so there's some cool stuff. I want to see this RV that has a helicopter pad on the roof. I
Yeah.
want to go to Oklahoma, see the guys over at Newell, check out some of their coaches. I want to go to there's this good old boy that's got a 99 Prevost with 2 full wall slides. Have you ever heard of a Prevost with a full wall slide?
Yeah, I saw it on TV a couple of times.
Really?
Yeah,
Where?
it was like RV something.
Really? I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to look that up. So that's something I want to go see in person. U.S. Olympic Museum in Colorado Springs. That's something definitely worth checking out. And so Kyle, also too, while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to get Michael, the same guy that's looking at that bus we were talking about earlier. He was thinking about what would it cost for one of your tour buses to pick him and his family up in Santa Barbara, California, drive to St. Louis, Missouri, leave them there for 10 days. I would assume the driver would fly home or something for vacation. I don't know if they do that, or if you leave the driver with the bus, if they're just going to sit somewhere for 10 days.
Generally, leave the driver. Just
The driver should be there.
just in case.
And then he can drive them around, or help
Yeah.
them with whatever they need. Kind of be a concierge while he's there. what would that roughly cost someone? So you're talking about driving to Santa Barbara, St. Louis, hanging out for 10 days,
Yeah.
driving back, probably about 2 weeks, give or take. The bus obviously has to go from here to Santa Barbara. I'm sure there's a fee there and then back.
On average, in the entertainment world, it's anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a day, depending on the coach and the routing and stuff like that.
So
that'll be with the driver and fuel and hotel for the driver and stuff.
So he's 14 to 28,000 for a 2-week vacation. But if you think of someone that's going to take their family on a really cool vacation, and even if they wanted to do kind of like what I'm going to do and go hit different museums, it would definitely be similar cost wise if you were to buy 4 plane tickets, a rental car, a hotel room. Definitely a tour bus. It's worth it to hit Kyle up and think of that as an option to travel. $109 in super chats. Thank you guys.
Sounds like Kyle and Andrew should go on tour together. I've had my fair share of miles.
Yeah, Kyle's a married man. I think it might get a little wild out there on the road. No, I'm just kidding.
I did 15 years.
15 years on tour. You could probably teach me a couple things. Shoot. Other good questions coming in. Any other cool places you guys think where would you
do a Route 66 tour? That would be cool.
Yes.
All the old tourist things from the 60s.
And
biggest ball of yarn and such. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And a quick idea too. It would be kind of cool in the wintertime to put together some sort of a bus tour for folks, where it'd be like an all-inclusive fly-in. Border coach will pick you up at the airport, and then they'll take you to like Sedona. Grand Canyon, maybe Moab, Utah, or kind of somewhere here kind of local where folks could hit all the really cool tourist stuff, and then you have it kind of planned out concierge-wise. That'd be kind of a cool package to offer people. Would you guys consider renting a tour bus if Kyle had something like that? Kyle and Andrew would love to see any coaches certified by you. Appreciate that super chat. I'm trying to.
When are you doing this trip?
In a couple hours here. Real close. I got my bags packed, man.
And
Sadie Lady, yep. Do you know of any purchased lots that allow 3 dogs? I don't know. That's a great question because Kyle's definitely.
I'm at that 3-dog max.
At that 3-dog max too.
Is there really restrictions?
Yeah, a lot of RV resorts restrict at how many dogs.
So I can't be the crazy dog guy.
I don't
have a bus full of dogs.
I gotta ask. I'll ask Paul at Polson Motor Coach. Yeah, live. They want to see a live tour of the bus. Yeah, we'll do a live tour of one of Kyle's. Kyle, who did you tour with?
For a long time, I used to work for a band called Asking Alexander, which was a metal band, and then at the end of my touring career, I was working for a band called Fifth Harmony.
So you were the sound guy?
Yeah, I was sound guy, who was a big pop group.
Cool, man. Well, we've been on here for about an hour and 40 minutes. I cannot believe that. That's pretty unbelievable. Still 165 of you guys watching. $109. Greatly appreciate that. Kyle, do you offer instructions for new bus owners?
I don't know. It's a good question. What do you want to know?
I'm sure for the right amount of money, Kyle can be hired, but I mean, it's probably hard for you because you're running a huge business. So
yeah,
like I even feel that
when I'm done with Scott Cook's bus.
That's number one.
I'm not even supposed to be on YouTube right now. I should be working.
Yeah, literally. It is Saturday. At least. Yeah, at least I'm not here on a weekday. But literally, like when I am here, Kyle is literally. I mean, there's like 10 people asking Kyle questions all the time. So it would be hard for him to really take a lot of time. I do appreciate him taking this time with us right now.
Kyle is 7 days, sun up to sundown, and even till like 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, I've seen it, man.
7 days a week.
That's the only way you get this much stuff accomplished.
Exactly.
You can't do it by not being a hustler.
Well, should we
appreciate that?
Do you want to take a quick run around the shop and
Yeah, we
And
can.
then we'll close this out.
Yeah, I think so. You guys want to go see around the shop real quick? What do you guys think? You guys want to see? Bob D, if you give us a super chat, I'll try to answer your question. But Bob D says you didn't answer my question twice. Goodbye, Bob D. I never even saw your question, so that's what we're here for. I'd love to be able to.
He says my wife wants to know if people tell you sound like Owen Wilson.
Oh no, nobody's ever
Yeah.
told me that. You did now. So, but yeah, if you're gonna have a
shop tour, everyone likes shop tour.
okay. What is the best option for passenger side blind side camera? They're working on that right now.
Yeah, that was the REI.
Can you run out there and just make sure there's no music going?
Can you turn
so we don't get
yeah.
hit with copyrights? They always keep music going. While we're here too, I'm gonna show you guys. Kyle's got all of this, all these hats here. If you go on bordercoachleasing.com, you can get one of these awesome hats. He's got all different colors here. Let me see. Sorry, Border Coach. Kyle's got one right now. T-shirts, all that good stuff. All right, sorry guys. All right, we got to. All right, we're gonna go take you into Kyle's shop here.
Let's go check it out.
I think Sadie Lady's ready to come with. Come on, Sadie. All right.
Thanks, George.
All right, this is where all the inverter work gets done over here.
Hey, look, we're on the screen. Yep.
Oh man, that's a trip.
Anyways, this is the shop. Here we are, and you can see the light up, or the camera. There's one of the 360s that we're putting on.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they can see all the way up there.
Yeah. Anyways, there's that. Here's some nuts and bolts.
Let's show them your Hoffman real
You want
quick.
to see the Hoffman?
Yeah, nice. There we are live. I love it.
Here's Scott Cook's rims right here for his bus for
Oh, nice.
365s.
Stored indoors here. I apologize if this is a shaky camera, guys. Hopefully it's the signal stand. Super cool, coach.
Lights on in here.
Yeah. These guys are putting in work.